honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, konnichiwa, and a very warm welcome to our online audience who have joined us virtually. On behalf of Asian Confluence, I, Shraddha Sinha, have the privilege to welcome each one of you all to the 6th India-Japan Intellectual Conclave, KIZUNA, held in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs, the Embassy of Japan in India, the Government of Meghalaya, and the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Japan. In an increasing colleague global landscape, India and Japan continue to share a relationship anchored in trust, shared democratic values, and a deep civilizational connect. Over the years, this partnership has evolved into a robust strategic collaboration with particular emphasis on the development of India's Northeast region, where India's Act East vision aligns meaningfully with Japan's free and open Indo Pacific outlook. So I welcome each one of you once again. Before we move ahead, I request Shri Sabyasachi Datta, Executive Director, Asian Confluence, to please come on stage and share a few words with us. Thank you.
A very, very good evening. Before we get started, may I just, on behalf of the Asian Confluence, extend a very, very warm and heartfelt welcome from all of us to Shillong and to this 6th edition of KIZUNA. This is the curtain raiser session, and the intent of this session is to basically set the tone for the whole conference. At 6 p.m. in an hour from now, we will have the inaugural session where the Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya will be attending along with other dignitaries. But before that, to such an esteemed and erudite audience, we thought that we should take some time to see the scope of how the projects that are been happening in this region are panning out. So we have a very, very distinguished panel here. I would like to welcome first Ambassador Deepa Gopalan Wadhwa, a member of the Governing Council of Asian Confluence, and she has been our ambassador in Japan, and she holds many, many people in Japan and India really look up to her for guidance. We're really happy to have you here, ma'am, to chair this session. We have with us the chief representative of JICA India. Takeuchi-san is amongst us. And we look forward to hearing from Takeuchi-san the entire scope of all that JICA is doing in this region. We also had the head of JETRO as part of this panel, but Suzuki-san had to for personal reasons, cancel his trip at the last moment. But we do have representatives from JETRO here. And then we have a very senior officer, Principal Secretary from the Government of Meghalaya, Shri Sampath Kumarji. He is running a few minutes late, but we'll get started anyway, and he'll join us, ma'am. And then we have a representative from the Government of Nagaland here, where again we would request Madam to set the tone for what is happening in the Nagaland landscape. So without taking too much time between you and this extremely distinguished panel, I'd like to request Madam Wadhwa to kindly come up on stage. Takeuchi-san, please. Madam Kikon, yes. And Sampaji is also going to be joining us in a bit. Yeah, you can sit and talk, yes. So without further ado, I think I'll request the chair to sort of set the stage for this entire Kizuna, the sixth edition of Kizuna, and then conduct this session. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabya. Wonderful to be here again in Shillong and yet again for another session of Kizuna. I think this is the sixth round that we are having here. Namaskar, konnichiwa, and good evening to all of you. We look forward to days of a wonderful conversation covering different aspects of our relationship and how to deepen our partnership. But this particular session, as you just heard, is where we're trying to, set the stage and actually look at how far we have come and where we stand right now. What has been important in this century has been really that the Japan and India relationship, which is centuries old, there's religion, there's culture, there's civilizational contact, which we all know about. But I think this particular century has been important because we saw geopolitical and geoeconomic convergences, which made both the countries decide that we were very, very special partners to each other, and that a strong relationship between the two of us was very important for both our national goals and to be able to attain our position both in the region and globally. And hence this partnership. But I must say, this partnership is not only based on friendship, but also we just heard, I think the lady, the compare introduced the session talking of trust. I think trust is very important in the relationship between India and Japan. And it is because of this trust that we look on Japan as a leading and perhaps till now the only foreign partner that we have for the development of the Northeast. And this has been something I think which has only grown in recent years. And therefore, I'm really happy that we have with us Takeuchi-san, represents JICA, to tell us what all JICA has been doing in this region. I must tell you that JICA's footprint in India is there in almost every state of India. So in many ways, it's a flag bearer of Japan because it's involved development projects all over India, but particularly in the Northeast, where it's involved in connectivity between the states, connectivity with our neighboring countries, in urban development, in agriculture, disaster management, you name it. The remit of JICA is extremely wide. So we look forward to hear from Takeuchi-san. But we also have, importantly, two representatives, as we heard just now from Mrs. Sabita, that is represented is very important because we need to know the policies and the priorities and the programs of the states in which we work together as partners. And this is what sets Japan apart from other countries, that Japanese development cooperation always works keeping in mind the development priorities of the country itself. We do have other development cooperation partners, and somebody who's been in the Ministry of External Affairs, I can tell you that Japan is different, particularly because it works with us closely to be able to advance our own priorities. I'm going to start by asking Takeuchi-san to talk about JICA's programs in the area and set the stage. Thank you so much.
My name is Takeuchi. I'm chief of the JICA India office. So I'm very honored to have the chance to make presentation at this wonderful event. Thank you so much. So I'm going to the next page. So before starting, let me briefly introduce about JICA. So JICA is a Japanese government agency for overseas development assistance implementation. So for India, Japan and JICA is the largest provider of international cooperation. And for Japan, so as well, India is the largest recipient of international cooperation. So we have 68 years experience of cooperation here. And also, we have provided Indian rupee 4.9 trillion of Japanese ODA loan so far. And currently, we have 120 projects, ongoing projects in this country. What's the next page, please? So JICA JICA prioritizes the Northeast very much. So based on the Japanese government strategy, cooperating for 20 projects with connectivity. Go to the next page, please. The title of today's presentation is Beyond Connectivity. So connectivity has been a key area of JICA's cooperation in the Northeast. Today, I will explain signs of the paradigm shift in the development of Northeast India, and then briefly the future direction of our cooperation. I will cover these points in the two topics above. So one is Northeast development progress and development challenge and the directions. So I move on to the next page, the Northeast development progress. Here, I will explain sign of the paradigm shift in the development of the region. About that discussion, I will briefly review the history of development in the region in three periods. Go to the next page. First period is pre-independence era. So before India's independence, Northeast India used to be an important industrial area. So history shows the region has potential. Such industrial prosperity depended on three key foundations. So first foundation was security and order. So indirect British rule kept Northeast India relatively stable. And the second foundation was connectivity. So there were strategic transport corridors linked protection areas to port, so through road and rail and inland waterways. And third foundation was robust industrial base. The main industry was tea. So Assam grows about half of the Indian tea and produces more than half of the country's total output. There was also strong industries in jute and in natural resources such as coal, oil, and limestone. Go to the next page. So second period is between independence to early 2010s. After independence, mainly due to the following two factors, Northeast India remained economically marginalized from the mainland. First factor was border change and transport cut-offs. So after the 1947 partition, Sylhet, so today's Bangladesh, joined the East Pakistan, and cutting Northeast India's main road, river, and rail links to the mainland. And the second factor was security instability. Since the 1950s, conflict in the region kept investment away and disrupted transport and made the government focus on security. So the region missed economic growth for many years. And third period covered the past decade with a focus on the present. So over the last 10 years, efforts have started to change, and Northeast India is now seemingly moving toward development. Mainly, two factors cause a shift. First factor is improved security. So violence has dropped a lot. So many militants have given up their weapons through peace deals, and the Armed Forces Special Powers Act has been removed from the most area in the Northeast. So example is, violent incidents have fallen sharply with 71% fewer cases and 80% fewer civilian deaths over the last 10 years. And the second factor was rapid infrastructure investment. The good example is airport. The number of operational to currently 70. So 130% rise in weekly flights now. And another good example is national highway. Nearly 10,000 kilometers of national highway were built over the last 10 years. And so network of railway, electricity, and broadband has been also expanded significantly. And infrastructure, the Northeast now shows the early sign of taking off in its development. The good example is real GDP growth rate fiscal year 2023 to 2024. 7 of the 8 states grow faster than India's overall growth rate. And 4 states especially, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Mizoram, achieve the double-digit growth. And another thing is the international logistic chains are expanding. So many international nationwide, 5-star hotels and retail business are now operating in the Northeast. So like the Marriott Hotel and Taj Hotel here. and also Flipkart, Amazon, and Starbucks, Burger King, etc., etc. Okay. Now, so I move on to the next chapter, development challenges and directions. The next page. So security and connectivity in the region improved a lot. And as a result, the development paradigm of the Northeast region appear to be changing. Then key question here is, what should the region focus on next? We JICA see security, opportunity, resilience, and equity. We use this term with the following meaning in mind. So strengthening connectivity and building on it to create broader economic opportunities, enhance resilience to climate change and natural disasters, and promote social equity. So let me briefly go through them one by one. So first is connectivity. So there was much progress on connectivity, but it's not yet complete. For instance, main highways have been improving, but many other roads still face big challenges. So constant effort is needed. And also, to unlock the region's potential, better connectivity with neighboring country is quite essential. So with this in mind, our future direction, JICA has helped complete 600 kilometers and has 250 kilometers of if diplomatic condition allows, we are ready to work with multiple countries to streamline custom procedures, so drawing on our experience in other regions like Africa. And the second keyword is opportunity. The key question now is how to leverage improved connectivity. So we think creating economic opportunity is key challenge. So unfortunately, so far, the Northeast industrial base is relatively limited. The example is manufacturing share in GDP. So if we see India overall, that is 14%, but if we see Northeast region, except for Assam and Sikkim, that is between 1 and 6%. And another example is the share of government employees in the workforce. That is very high. For instance, the share in Nagaland and Sikkim of that rate is 7 times higher than that of Indian average rate. So our future direction is JICA is quite keen to cooperate building key industry in Northeast India. And for instances, we are discussing cooperation on Assam semiconductor ecosystem and exploring a workforce development system and infrastructure using Japan's semiconductor manufacturing expertise. Third area is resilience. Economic opportunity is sustainable, resilience is essential. Northeast India is vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters. For instances, most of Northeast India falls into the highest risk categories for landslide and earthquakes, according to Government India's categories. So our future direction is we support the region in building resilience to climate change and natural disaster by using the region's natural resources. So Meghalaya Forest Project is a very good example. In this project, we are cooperating for enhancing community-led springshed and watershed management and small-scale work to handle rainfall variability, drought and erosion and landslide risk. And another example is we are providing special tailored training course to enhance capacity of the State Disaster Management Authority across the region. And final keyword is equity. Northeast India has major gaps in social services due to years of underinvestment and mountainous terrain. So example of social services that are lacking, so compared to mainland are, so one is advanced care. So actually advanced care is quite limited now. So many states have no full-time neurosurgeons or face acute shortages. And another example is patient out migration. So 73% of heart disease patients are currently seeking treatment outside the state. So our future direction is JICA is building a health hub and promoting Japan-India exchange to train medical specialists in this region. The example is in Nagaland, we are supporting development of a first tertiary care facility in Mizoram, constructing the first center of hospital and first cancer hospital and medical college. In Assam, we are supporting, so making the super specialty wings for cardiology, neurosurgery, nephrology in the 6 medical colleges. And another area is we are also cooperating for expanding the support for the vulnerable people in the final page. So these are our future direction in the northeast area. And to summarize, so going forward, JICA help build cores for economic opportunity and resilience and social equity on existing and expanding connectivity. So yeah, a regional core with its neighbors.
Important for all of us to hear that. I don't think we really realize the expanse of what is really covered by JICA in the Northeast. And as you can see, that these are all areas of great importance to us. I mean, we all know about infrastructure, but I mean, this is in fact a learning for me also to learn about the health hubs which have come up, which are so important. Most welcome. So this is some. Okay. No, we just had a very good presentation on JICA and what JICA is doing in the Northeast. I'm sure we'll be able to share this with you if you, you know, and you probably know a lot of it. So now this, we just heard about core and the focus areas and the logic behind it, and this really is something that I'm sure all these appreciate hugely too. So thank you very much, Agrish. Thank you very much, and I hope we see more of JICA's footprint in our Northeast. As I said, you're important to us not only because of the expertise that you bring, but the experience that you bring from other areas, plus also, as I said, the trust factor and the close friendship between our countries. Now, since you have just come, Ms. Sambat Kumar, shall I request you? Okay, I thought you, so you can catch your breath. We'd like to hear now about Nagaland and what you think are the priorities, and perhaps also add what you would like JICA to do. Yeah, thank you.
Respected Chairperson, respected co-panelists, respected dignitaries, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. It's an honor to give an Nagaland perspective on India and Japanese partnership in the region and the road so far. Nagaland-Japan ties have deep historical roots and have recently expanded into concrete development projects across multiple sectors. Over the past many years, Nagaland has launched multiple government and private initiatives with Japanese partners. These include official development assistance, human resource mobilization, corporate engagements, and culture and peace commemorations. Next. The Nagaland Forest Management, under the Nagaland Forest Management Project, a major multi-forestry and livelihood is a rupees 533 crores project covering more than 185 villages across 11 divisions and 22 forest ranges. The key components of the projects are forest rehabilitation, community engagement, and capacity building. The key impacts for this Nagaland Forest Management Program assisted by JICA are more than 44,236 hectares of forest area has been across various districts. More than 80 lakhs saplings have been planted, significantly raising the forest cover, and more than 429 women self-help groups were provided loans of more than rupees 2.5 crores for income-generating opportunities. The project has helped combine environmental restoration and socio-economic improvement through community participation and sustainable livelihood models. The project has also earned national recognition. Hospital is established to strengthen the healthcare infrastructure and medical education.
And the main objectives or the key objective is to improve access to tertiary health services in Nagaland, enhance medical education, training and human resource development for doctors and specialists, and support universal health coverage and equitable health access for undeserved populations. The status of the MCH project implementation is ongoing and running till around 2035. It is expected to reduce dependence on external health services and increase quality healthcare availability for and the related educational facilities is expected to transform Nagaland's health system by improving medical service access, training health professionals locally, and strengthening the research capabilities. In 2023, the government of Nagaland, through the Investment and Transformation Department, signed an MOU with Nagaland University for setting up of Center of Excellence in Foreign Language Learning that enable overseas placement and other opportunities. Here, Japanese was introduced as the first foreign language. In December 2023, MOU was signed between Nagaland University and Arms Incorporation, a Japanese dissenting organization for implementing Japanese language course. In July 2025, the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, Dr. Nifi Ryu, led a high-level close to 300 youths from Northeast are already working in Japan since 2023. Is only the beginning for many other partnerships. The Sasakawa Peace Foundations has been around in the northeastern region for many years, now engaging in projects of peace and conflict resolution. SPF has supported its long-term partner, Take One, a specialist production team in Nagaland, and has recently launched a historical narratives related to the Battle of Kohima and the Northeast in 1962. in Conclave. High-level Nagaland delegation met with SPF at its headquarters powerful symbol of remembrance, reconciliation, and hope. It honors the courage and sacrifice of those who fought in and around Kohima during the Second World War, while transforming that memory into a living public space for present and future generations. By combining a memorial with an eco-park, it preserves history and provides environmental stewardship, creating a peaceful place for reflection, education, and community gatherings that strengthens local identity in Nagaland. The site also embodies international friendship and cooperation through collaborative elements developed with and has the potential to boost cultural tourism, youth engagement, and heritage-led development for the region. In conclusion, this synergy between policy-driven human capital development and responsible corporate commitments offers a compelling foundation for deeper investment, innovative partnerships, and Japanese companies can not only strengthen their presence in Northeast India, but also contribute meaningfully to sustainable development, including bilateral cooperation. The Nagaland-Japan engagement does represent not just economic opportunity.
Thank you so much to Shrimati Jamil for this presentation. I did know that the Chief Minister of Nagaland had a very successful visit to Japan. We read reports of it. But it's interesting to know that you signed an MOU with Kochi Prefecture. As you know, when our Prime Minister visited Japan in, I think it was in September, October this year, one for the annual summit, I think one of the very important takeaways was that we should more tourism, which I think Nagaland is such a wonderful, absolutely beautiful state coming there, and I'm sure they will really something that for that presentation. And I'm sure JICA, we look for cooperation with JICA and with the corporate Japan also, and JBIC and other agencies to engage more with Nagaland. And we'd love to hear what Japan has been doing here, your priorities, and the programs, and where you think Japan could work more in Meghalaya.
Thank you, ma'am. The co-panelist, Joint Secretary from Nagaland, and all the dignitaries who are present here. I can also see Madam Patricia here from Shillong Times, and all the people coming from different places, and especially from the Japan. Those I think who have been coming from Japan. Can you raise your hand? Just like I wanted to just see how many of you are here. So yeah, thank you very much, and we extend warm welcome to all of you. There's a big story to tell. I think this is the second fastest growth as a small state, how actually they're trying to do differently with a lot of investments through government and also through the private sector investment. So it's something that we uh, we all are very excited about it, because the state has come up with a very roadmap to really place, how actually we wanted to see the state in the next, coming years. So this, when Meghalaya is also a new state in the sense, like it was formed only in 1972, and when celebrated 50 years, this entire, we have come up with a vision. In fact, under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Conrad Sanma, that, like, we must actually become the India's top 10 states. So it's a very ambitious goal, but if you don't have a goal, we can't reach there. So that's very important. So that's the idea with which actually everyone has been working, and we are also seeing some positive results, whether it's actually addressing some of the complex developmental challenges that what we have. So we are working on all those elements. That's where we really look at the partnerships, especially with Japan. We see it's a very important partnership, because if you have watched our chief minister's budget speech yesterday in the budget presentation, you would find there is a vision for creating a 600 crore remittance economy in the next couple of years with the Japan remittance economy. That means already we have been sending nurses and care workers to Japan, and each of them are actually sending back almost like a lakh rupees every month. So this is something that we could see. In fact, the way that Kerala had grown if you look at Kerala's, it's mostly remittance economy. So we have a huge advantage. I would like to say the another important element about Meghalaya, especially from the point of anyone, especially from the Japan, is that it is one of the fastest growing state. Not only say demographic population, our fertility rate is the second highest in the country, and maybe given the trends that what we have measured in the last couple of years, we might be the number one in the next coming survey. So that's something that, that means we have a young population. 25% of our population is below 9 years. 49% of the population is below 19 years. That means very young population is there. So that's again and good at, we always used to think that, like, Northeast is good at, English speaking. But, like, one of our experiments we did in one of our agencies, we put our nurses. We started with nurses. I'm also health secretary here. So we started with nurses. We gave them training on, the English as well as Japan. Okay, both. And many of them, in fact, I would say, are almost all of them qualified for Japanese training, but not IELTS and TOEFL. so, so there is some, though actually, we have, everyone thinks, like, we are very good at English, but in fact, we're excellent in Japan, maybe Japanese. So I would say we can see. And the second thing, the people who have gone from here in Japan, in fact, the companies are really, really liking them. The workforce we require, the kind of etiquette, the kind of care, the precision care that they take. So I think this is something, the quality of, the especially when we talk about not only the technical skills, the soft skills. How do you actually take, the especially the elderly groups, how do you take care of them with compassion, care, empathy, all this, the skills are so important. I think these skills from Meghalaya and the Northeast are really, really like basically win-win environment. So both ways I think it works. I think it's a good way of actually looking at this entire collaboration that what we have with Japan. I think that I see is a very important thing. Besides that, we also are very, we are very good at culture, right? In fact, if you see, again, a lot of cultural exchange that is happening through cherry blossom festivals. But besides that, we also have very good at even the way we the shiitake mushroom is actually grown. In fact, we started promoting and very well in Meghalaya. That's another first collaboration with Japan that we had. We have a lot of delegations used to come. In fact, Mr. Sabia used to bring a lot of Japanese delegations, and we used to do this lot of work between. Then we also have the buckwheat is again, it's grown. Now we are promoting buckwheat to, very heavily in Meghalaya. So there's a lot of the agricultural and exports can also happen from here to Japan. There's not only the human resources. So I think that's something that we could see a lot of value that we can generate. And the latest one, especially while Assam is actually investing in semiconductor technology, Meghalaya is investing in AI, artificial intelligence workforce. So there are now, in fact, companies based out of Shillong, they are actually servicing NVIDIA. So, so NVIDIA is the world's largest AI company, and there is some they're actually from base. So that's again a lot of young people. Again, as I said, the population, we have a very younger population, and they're very good at they're very in technology. So there's another area where actually we would like to promote. Is that how do we, while actually our neighboring state is heavily investing in semiconductor technology, we would like to invest more on artificial intelligence, like workforce. How do you actually create more talented workforce? Because that is something that is more useful for us, because we are a landlocked state. And we have a geographical binding constraints. So but the IT services actually will provide a great opportunity where you can work from here, but you can service the whole world. So that's again one of the areas that actually we are going to give a lot of focus on that. So with this, actually, just I wanted to give some of these opportunities that what we have. We are already working with JICA very close. In fact, we had a big conference last year or before last year here, inviting all the states, and we hosted all the JICA projects which are being implemented in India. So we have a very good relationship, and and we are one of the states. Again, I would like to say we implement a large number of external aided projects. So this again we build that capacity to manage the external aided projects, because that's why we have about around 3,000 young people are employed through external aided projects in the state. So basically, because of the EAPs, these young boys and girls are able to get jobs, and also they're able to manage it well, so that we can able to get more projects. So it's all again the power of youth. If you have very good competencies and skills, and how actually the state can grow. So this is the path that actually we have been taking, and under the able leadership of our honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Conrad Singma. So thank you very much, and I, in fact, he will be joining all of us for the dinner. I think we will have more discussions when our senior. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for hosting us. It's always wonderful to be back here in Shillong. And it's interesting that you mentioned the cherry festival. How important it is in and how beautiful it is. Of course, that happens in end March, early April. But here I've seen it in November. This is when I think you have the cherry blossom festival. I saw some pink flowers today. I'm not sure whether they were cherry blossoms, but as we were driving in. But I think this is a big connect between certainly Meghalaya and Japan. And the fact that it's a young state, that the demographies is something that perhaps is matches very well with the needs of Japan, and you've already been successful in setting and you're looking at yourself as a remittance economy. I want to tell you about skilling. I think it's something that certainly we should partner in. Skilling for ourselves, so what we can do in India. Skilling, of course, for the needs of Japan, and I think skilling also for So I'm just being told I can ask you some questions too. That's right. And I think what we're also seeing is that, apart from traditional areas, that we're now going to new areas as AI. So now we've had a presentation by JICA. We know what they've been doing. We have had two very good presentations by representatives of Meghalaya and Nagaland. I'll open the floor for questions, comments, anything more that you would like us to do, anything that we should do. Certainly, I think more Japanese language courses and more Japanese. The JICA sends volunteers to teach Japanese. And as we were coming in today, in fact, I was telling Takeuchi-san that maybe what we should also have is to train teachers in Japanese in the Northeast, so that they can be teachers, in fact, and that we will have a really good a sort of a mass of people who know Japanese well, are comfortable with Japanese culture, and are able to go and work in Japan. So the floor is open now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, please.
Just to do justice to my first ever presence here, I'm very overwhelmed with the context. So while observing the presentation by JICA, and of course hearing the comments of panelists, I I understand this bit of challenge in terms of, as Takeuchi-san also mentioned, infrastructure, which is quite important here, and the landslides and everything. But I personally feel that Japan has done remarkably well. I've never felt an earthquake whenever I go there, although I want to experience it, but not so heavy, but a milder one. But then in Meghalaya, if that is a challenge, I think that also presents a big opportunity. Northeast, specifically talking. So, since Japan has expertise in disaster resilient infrastructure, so I think there's much to be done there. I think there is a big potential for collaboration on that front. As well as I personally feel that there could be more projects in terms of tunneling, and because it's a hilly region, and in Japan the roads are so safe. I've traveled in nights, and I think that is something that I would want to see more engagements, and that's my request and suggestion, that can be taken up in times to come, which is already being done, but I think there's enough to be taken care there. What do you think?
I should have actually asked you to introduce yourself. I know who you are, but maybe you can just introduce yourself to the audience as you speak. Yes.
Well, I'm Himanshu. I head the Japan practice. My founder and managing partner Ajay is here. He's going to be talking about semiconductor economy tomorrow. But yes, we've created this niche specific forte in Japan, and for last 35 years, we're going to celebrate our 35th anniversary next week. Some of who are present here will be attending. So would be ma'am. But I think over the last 35 years, we've contributed on the on professional side, and we've gained much, as well as we equally Japan a lot in terms of and I think especially like this forum, in Hindi it says Del ka Saman KIZUNA. So hard to hard relationship has been strong, but I think of late, the last 10, 12 years, we've grown more closer, and especially our leadership in both sides are very, very passionately engaging with each other. And we want to contribute to this relationship from the professional side. And that's what we've been doing to observe how better we can service the Japanese corporates and companies, and what is there to be done more. Learning our bit and doing our bit in times to come.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. I think Takeshi-san, you could take his questions.
Thank you so much. So I have three comments to your comment and questions. First of all, so first point is your point is quite important, and we also think so. Disaster risk reduction is very key area. Actually, not limited to northeast area. So we are seeing the mountainous area, including northeast region. Especially, we are focusing on the earthquake and also landslide. And we already started some cooperation to establish the measure of the control so landslide. So in Uttarakhand, and this is a kind of the test case. And so getting the knowledge through the trials activities there, then we like to disseminate this know-how across the region. So this is our approach. So first point is this area is quite important. But the second point is the disaster risk so constructing balance. So why Japan is good at so disaster risk reduction? Because we are big lover of planning. Sometimes this works very bad. Maybe for Indian people, actually mostly. And I'm a bit hesitate to say, but Indian people, they are very good at actions, but somehow not good at planning. Preparedness. Nothing happens, but telling easy, but doing is but we need for the future accident or etc. etc. This is the essence of the so disaster risk reduction. So that's why in the stage of making a plan, it is easy, but with difficulty. So actually this happened. This is the second point. And third point is co-creation is quite key because even in Japan, I think disaster, natural disaster, because every year we have experienced no one expected before. The damage of the so disaster is expanding and expanding. Now question is, so human being can control the damage of the natural disaster. In that sense, protection is everything. This is a question. So we may have to accept some damage happen, but after that, economically we can repair. This kind of consideration may be also necessary because so hilly area in this country, there are a lot of so landslide issues. So that's why we can prepare for all. This is a very big question. But it's not just for Indian people. It's also India and Japan how to adapt to the change of the how to say so the character of the natural disaster. This may be the topic we can collaboratively pursue. So that's why so we'd like to tackle with the Indian people so to make kind of the new know-how how to control this kind of incidents. So this is three comments I have to your question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Takeshi-san. Do you have anything to add to that, Mrs. Sampal?
Like when you say this earthquake, we definitely Shillong is a place I think which received the largest Richter scale earthquake in the history of India. So it's definitely I think very important thing. I think what the country director from mentioned. I think a lot of focus, I think, not think definitely, I think we need to invest on some technical support on this. useful thing for the whole state and maybe for many other states too.
We already have been providing some special training course for all the northeastern regions of states. And actually, main course is conducted in IIT Guwahati. And the target of this the training course is all the officials in the disaster risk related department in Northeast region. But as you say, yeah, this kind of technical cooperation is very important. And also, in addition to that, some kind of collaboratory work, how to tackle with these issues with you. This is not assistance. This is a collaboration. This kind of, how to say, study each other. This kind of activity may be very useful, not only for you, but also for us. So this kind of collaboration we'd like to create.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have, it's really interesting because the important governance, and I think anything to do with, governance, which we associate with governance, but in the area of, in the corporate world, when Suzuki came into India and came Maruti Suzuki, I think what they brought to India was not only the technology, not only the cars, but I think what they brought to us was management techniques. And we absorbed them so well. And today, we're able to export cars across the world. Our automotive industry has grown so well. So we learned a lot really from the experience of Suzuki. And I think similarly in terms of governance, and when you look at disaster, disaster management and how to make people conscious of what they have to take, what they have to do. I happened to be in Japan soon after the 2011, what was called the triple disaster. There was tsunami, there was earthquake, and there was a nuclear power plant which leaked. And it was, I think, a lesson for the world to see how well the Japanese coped. Of course, it was a cooperation, and there was great appreciation of the fact that India had sent a team of people actually to the Tohoku region to help at that point of time. But to see the recovery, the reconstruction, and the lessons that they took away from it, which they were willing to share with the world. So I think there's much we can learn from each other. Any other questions? Yes. Please introduce yourself too.
Thank you. Jayantu Roy Chaudhary from the United News of India. This question is for Mr. Kumar. You said, and I remember when you were talking about medical training and the export of workers, Ranjan Chatterjee, who is to be Chief Secretary here, telling me that this will be a great services export hub at some stage, mainly because of the quality of manpower that Meghalaya has. Can you give us some actual numbers of the number of medical care workers that Meghalaya has managed to export, and specifically with regards to Japan?
So the number is less. This is about close to, in fact, it's not even hundreds actually. So basically it started only, 1.5 years ago. But the basically we got it's like a mission moon project for us. What does it mean? So in a society like matrilineal society, not many people wanted to go out. Many people want to come back. Even like a lot of people who go out for studies, they will come back. But this is something that what of encouragement is coming up now. A lot more. There's more response is coming up. So as part of that, what we're trying to do is that we're going to actually have a center here itself in Shillong, and who would actually introduce Japanese learning while actually when the nursing course actually started. So that's how manpower going. But we have a plan on that. So basically, we call it the care economy hub, like a you must have all heard of Hyderabad hub, software hub. So we put a care economy hub. So the idea is that you build kind of a system, ecosystem. Basically, this again giving confidence for the people who are going there, and at the same time giving confidence to those who are recruiting from here. Thank you.
Sure. Please. You need no introduction, but
Patricia Mukhim, editor of the Shillong Times. I'm more interested in peace building. And yesterday we had a panel discussion and program in St. Anthony's College supported Sasakawa Foundation. We are a very volatile region. We have a lot of ethnic conflicts, some of which have lasted now almost 2.5 years, and we haven't come anywhere to peace building. So, can we do something about a peace building curriculum? How you are doing it at Sasakawa Peace Foundation? Because we don't know the vocabulary of peace. We don't know the first thing to do. I mean, how do you bring warring parties to begin to talk to each other? So I think for me that because it is upon peace that you build your governance and your development. Thank you.
I'm sure that the act with growing, I think partnership and exchanges. There'll be academic exchanges too, and I suppose that can be done at level. But Takuchi-san, would you like to say something about this? Of course, of the remit of JICA, I'm aware. But someone who has lived in Japan, and I know our relationship. I'm sure that would be the best way where we could certainly discuss issues like that. Mr. Kumar, would you like to add something?
Back to me. So regarding the peace related work that actually, even I was also very curious. I was listening to presentation. I was also curious. I really wanted to know like how actually this entire work that is happening. But definitely peace is the fundamental for economic growth or anything. So I think any efforts on that, I think is a definitely. But basically I don't have much comments on it, but except that like if there's any suggestions coming from again the foundation, or we will be more than happy to collaborate and work with them.
Is JICA working in Manipur?
Actually, so currently we don't have ongoing project in Manipur. So concerning the actually security situation. So and also actually in other countries we have some the program for the peace building. But the important thing is the host country has such willingness to collaborate with Japan or collaborate with outside country in that area, because this is very much related to the how to say domestic politics. So that's why it depends on the host countries. And actually, but in my view, India has a very strong autonomy. So that's why so far, as a government organization, we don't feel any kind of such kindness. But very fortunately, Asagawa also Foundation, they have very good such kind of activities. We are actually from outsiders, I'm very much proud of the programs, in this regard.
Thank you. Yes, please. Sir.
I'm Raymond. I'm a journalist here in Shillong. This question is to Mr. Sampat Kumar. In the, I think, 37 nurses have gone from Shillong to Japan. I would like to know, what is the total remittance so far?
So yesterday you must have seen this.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's 1 lakh per month coming.
so what's the
Like you can see, like suppose you can calculate accordingly. So if that's where the plan, if you look at 3,000 people are going, let's say that's a plan, we can actually get about 600 crores. That's our remittance economy goal, what we have. And currently that's basically we can make a calculation accordingly.
okay?
Well, I just want to say that we have His Excellency the Master, the High Commissioner of Bangladesh. Welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much. Any other questions? I think we've almost run out of time. I'm looking for Shabya. Is someone there? I'm missing the person. Please go ahead, sir. Just introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Gopal Nadadur from the Asia Group. We're a strategy advisory consulting firm headquartered out of Washington, D.C., helping foreign investors and businesses do business in India, helping Indian businesses go abroad. Thank you so much for the honor of being here. Thank you to the speakers for the information shared. I'm particularly fascinated by Takeuchi-san's data point, the lower share of manufacturing in each of northern region states. And the need for job creation. I would love to hear from Takeuchi-san, ma'am, sir, about areas where lower hanging fruits of manufacturing sectors that could be developed. For instance, one that I've discussed with Sampath sir in the past is food exports, processing organic food, really building on the natural crops that Meghalaya and other states have to offer. So if there's some level of direct exports or basic value addition that could be done, and with JICA's infrastructure investments, connectivity investments as well, facilitating the way, seems to be a job creating, that seems to have job creating potential. I'm curious for your reactions to that, and also any other sectors that you see as having potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think we take responses from all in brief, because we should, I think, now go to the next session. Thank you. First.
Oh, that's a very important question. So I think, and yeah, actually, the share of the manufacturing sector is so expanding, but unfortunately, so far the pace is quite the same as the economic growth rate. The government is up to the 25%, but always percentage like 14%. So this means expanding, but this is really lower than the previous case like China or the Asian country and or Japan case. Then so we shift our eye to the northeast region. What do area visa promising? And I totally understand what you mean, but I don't know which is right. So if we see potential for the northeast region, they have natural resources and also they are good at agriculture. That's why fruit is at hand. Suddenly, 3-4 years ago, so big movement started in Assam actually, semiconductor. But if we see the cluster development, so how many percentage of cluster is intentionally created? So in the beginning, we saw in Assam conductor, but this is bigger. Now we see often there is some low hanging fruit, but there is a I'm not so confident I can answer to your question which area is a low hanging tree, but for us this kind of sentiment is quite important. So that's why how to take advantage of this sentiment. So this may be the most promising field. How to create manufacturing sector in India and also in those situations. And one thing, so one of the only strengths of this region is actually human resources very. Then in movement of conductor comes. If we spend moment to why we are focusing on the area of the semiconductor, especially human resource development. That's my answer.
Thank you so much for the question. I believe, as you have stated, not only the Northeast, all the Northeast states, and then even the state of Nagaland, we have a lot of potential for organic fruits and like organic products. And taking this platform, I would like to request JICA, our state, from our end, we have not explored, but in days from a small scale, but we would like to explore the option, and we hope that you'll be willing to take part in this collaboration. And regarding the other aspects the potentials that we have in our Northeast states is like we can explore as Madam has stated, earlier, the potential of hospitality and tourism, where we can collaborate with all our Japanese partners if we get the opportunity. Yes, thank you.
So, thank you, Dr. Gopal, for the question. And I think I echo the same kind of a responses what my colleague from Nagaland has said. And also, the one thing that I wanted to take what JICA country director has mentioned, the important thing, what kind of a clusters that we are developing. In Meghalaya, actually, we are very, very deliberately that work is happening to ensure assured supply to ensure assured supply chains is aggregation. So aggregation can happen when really bring people together. We are working in a very systematically. In fact, this again, if some of you have seen the speeches clusters that are coming up across the state. So there is something that what state is doing is this, bringing mobilizing the farm, the players, the players. Actually, we need to connect with those players who can come and give that value addition for what we are trying to create. But there is a tremendous opportunity I can see. The another important major, it's a concept where it's a concept where it's not organic farming. It's organic farming is more input based, but natural farming is essentially you really strengthen the soil web, food web, and get the real good food, and we are actually seeing very good results. One of we have a massive for between Japan and the state of Northeast. So the only thing is that what is required is that more connection is required. One should know, explore, and discover each one's potential. And for example, I just want to take Japan requires construction workers. Like last year alone in Meghalaya, we have constructed 15,000 houses. Sorry, 150,000 houses. 150,000 houses. So, and these 150,000 houses are constructed by almost like 150,000 masons. All are family masons. So you already there is a skill is there. If you add those elements, imagine these people can actually. So there is so much skill is there within. We need to discover that potential and skill within. Thank you.
So thank you so much. It's been a very interesting panel. Thank you for being a great audience and engaging so well. And before I end, I have to welcome His Excellency Ambassador Keiichi Uno. Thank you so much for being here, Excellency. And give us all a hand. Thank you.
Please be on stage as we would like to felicitate each one of you. And to do the honors, I request Ma'am Srimati Shabri Chaudhary, Trustee and Director, the Habitat Shillong Asian Confluence, to do the honors and felicitate our panelists with a traditional Uttorio. Once again, I would like to thank Shri Sampath Kumar, Principal Secretary, Government of Meghalaya, Ambassador to Japan and Member, Governing Council, Asian Confluence, as well as Mr. Takeuchi Takuro, Chief Representative, JICA India, and finally, Srimati Kikung Sungla Jamir, Joint Secretary, Planning and Transformation Department, Government of Nagaland. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we now take a brief pause as we prepare for the arrival of our Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya. In the meantime, I request Mr. Haubam Joyramba, Director, Imphal Peace Museum, to kindly come forward and give a short introduction to the exhibition that is taking place in the Tango Hall, which is right next to this hall in the left side. And he would give a short introduction to the artifacts that are being featured from Imphal Museum, Peace Museum, and it will be followed by Mr. Nathaniel Majau, Director, the Northeast India AV Archive, who will give a short presentation on Northeast Archive. Thank you so much.
Distinguished dignitaries, respected representatives from Japan and India, dear friends, konnichiwa, good evening. It is deeply emotional for me to speak at this KIZUNA. The word KIZUNA, in a single word, we can put it as a bond. It is not merely a diplomatic expression. It is something I have witnessed and lived through the journey of making of the Imphal Peace Museum. This is how we began. I come from a place, Manipur, a land that once was one of the fiercest battles of the Second World War. For decades, that history lived quietly in memories and in stories of sacrifice. All right, thank you. When the idea of Imphal Peace Museum was first envisioned, many asked, why revisit war? But we were not revisiting war. We were reclaiming peace. Today, the land of conflict has transformed into a sacred place of reconciliation. I've witnessed Japanese families standing silently before the exhibits, some holding back tears. I've seen young Manipuri students reading about the same history, not with anger, but with understanding. It's not working. Yeah, next please. Next please. Yeah. This is the present status of the museum as of now. Next please. Next please. Next please. Next. 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 In those moments where families shed their tears at the Imphal Peace Museum, I understand the meaning of Heiwa. Next, please. The calligraphy of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe-san, displayed at our museum, is not merely ink on paper. It is a moral message. It represents Japan's journey from devastation to dignity. It represents the power of peace as a deliberate national choice. Over the years, the Imphal Peace Museum has welcomed thousands of visitors from India, Japan, and across the world. Please keep on moving the slides. Diplomats, scholars, veteran families, youth delegation, policymakers. Each visitor leaves with a deeper understanding that history does not have to divide us. Yeah, yes, please. Over the years, something deeply moving has happened. Many Japanese families whose fathers and grandfathers fought
or lost their lives in the Battle of Imphal have come forward. They have donated photographs, personal diaries, handwritten letters, and postcards sent from the battlefield. These are not just archival material entrusted to us with trust. Often, they write expressing their heartfelt desire to visit Imphal, to stand on the soil where their ancestors once stood, to pay their respects and to find a closure. Unfortunately, many of them remained unable to visit due to prevailing travel advisories by different governments and regulatory systems like the protected area permit. While we respect sovereign concerns of governance and security, we sincerely hope that in the spirit of people to people diplomacy, these matters may thoughtfully be reviewed in the future so that the human bridge between our nations grows stronger. This journey of the Imphal Peace Museum would not have been possible without the steadfast support of the Embassy of Japan to India and the visionary commitment of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation and the Nippon Foundation. They did not support merely as an institution, but they nurtured reconciliation, they strengthened the trust, they deepened Kizuna through Heiwa. There was once a moment of great anticipation for us that you see on the screen there. The proposed visit of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, along with the Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe-san, to visit the Imphal Peace Museum. It filled our hearts with hope and joy. It would have been the first, a prime minister of one country visiting our state, Manipur. That visit called off just 3 days before their arrival. That visit, though deferred, symbolized something far beyond protocol. It symbolized the possibility of two great leaders. Please move to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. It symbolized the possibility of two great leaders standing together, affirming that peace had prevailed over conflict. We continue to wait, not with impatience, but with faith. We remain hopeful that one day the leaders of our two nations will stand together at the Imphal Peace Museum, fulfilling the vision of Shinzo Abe-san carried in his heart that history must unite and not divide us. Please, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Peace is a foundation of development. Without peace, progress is fragile. Without reconciliation, nation building is incomplete. Without trust, partnership cannot endure. If we truly want to scale a partnership, which is the theme of KIZUNA, the sixth KIZUNA at Shillong this time, partnership in agriculture, education, trade, and governance, we must also scale up peace because the peace is temporary. Let us scale up this partnership not only in strategy, but in sincerity, not only in infrastructure, but in humanity. Because when peace becomes the foundation, development becomes destiny. From Manipur to Japan, from Japan to Japan, from India to Vatican, may our bond grow deeper, stronger, and more meaningful with every generation. Arigato gozaimasu. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Good evening, dignitaries, friends. Before we go through the walkthrough of the exhibition, which is is presented by the North India Archive. I would like to give a brief how it started. So back in 2000, and also members of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation had a discussion with us at St. Anthony's College about how can we start a project where we are collecting material of the different communities of Northeast India. And as the discussion on, we came up with the idea of an audio-visual have any such center where researchers, scholars, hobbyists, filmmakers can come to a place and come to a center where they can view material which is relating, especially audiovisual visual material which is relating to the Northeast. So as most of you would know that the Northeast has about 220 tribal communities. And as the discussions went on, this project came out with an aim to collect as much material in audio form, in video form, basically even in, of course, in audio, in music formats. And that project was termed as Preserving the Histories and Memories of Northeast India. So the center is located in St. Anthony's College. And over the years, I would like to show you what we've been doing in the Northeast India AV Archive. Currently, we operate from a very small office. And if you can see to the left, that's where material can be accessed in the archive, because not all material is available online for us, for the public, actually. And what we do in the center is not only do we give access to the material that we've collected, but we also digitize a lot of legacy media. So like VHS tapes, beta tapes, and even audio cassettes. We've also had the privilege to digitize the very first Khasi film, which was directed by Mr. Hamlet Bare, and rescreen this film again. We've also, over the years, had a lot of contribution from families, not only from Shillong, but other states from the Northeast. And what we do is we take the material that's there, that's been contributed to us, and we not only digitize it, but actually catalog it and add metadata to it so that researchers can easily find the material. I would also like to go through some of the events, or rather the activities that we've been conducting over the past 6 years. The visuals right now are actually what we do on a daily basis. For instance, cleaning of VHS tapes and digitizing even negatives. You can access a lot of the material through our website called nearchive.in. That's the URL. We, as an archive, have also thought that it should not be a static archive, but an archive which is vibrant and an archive which reaches out to the people. So one of the actually having a film festival of not only inviting filmmakers from the Northeast, so educating students from the Northeast about how they can use the audiovisual archive. We've had information and public workshops to recognize, or rather to assess the material that they have in the office. And of course, the next step is to digitize it. I'm just going to skip through some of the slides. We have collaborators in all the states of ma'am talk about earlier in the previous session. We've also collaborated with the government of Meghalaya. Because we're based in Shillong, we have been able to assist departments like DIPR in not only digitizing their material, but also making a comprehensive catalog. We've also collaborated with the tourism department and also curated, for instance, the material that we have Meghalaya turned 50 years. Apart from that, we are very active in holding exhibitions throughout the state, and as much as we can, we try to have exhibitions in other states also. This is a part of course, the goal of having these exhibitions is getting young people interested in not only archival material, but actually the communities that are there in the north and learning about the communities which are neighboring them. I'm just going to skip through some of these slides. Uh, we've also been fortunate to produce documentaries which are based on history. This is one on a documentary on Meghalaya statehood. And again, more photos of the exhibitions that we have held. And we regularly, of course, have researchers in our office. Have about currently have about I would say 20,000 photographs, equal number of negatives, another 1,000 films that are there which have been digitized. Some of them have not been digitized. Excuse me, I'm just running through the slides, just the activities we're doing. Of course, typograph exhibitions, and earlier we have been able to digitize also a very important film, which is the first Khasi film called Kasinchikri. And of course, all of this wouldn't have been possible without the Saskar Peace Foundation. The Saskar Peace Foundation has been able to get us training in many organizations, museums, libraries in Japan, and we've been able to bring back these ideas in Japan and take these best practices in Japan and making sure that not only that there is an archive Shillong, that hopefully we can be a model of an archive which can be replicated in states of Northeast India. And the collection that we'll be seeing in the small hall that's there, it's about 16 photographs actually, have been through the work that we've been doing. It's been a catalog of course, research on through this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joyramba and Mr. Majau. Now, please note that the exhibition will remain during the course of the conclave, so you're most welcome to explore it at your convenience during the breaks. Now, let us all commence with the inaugural session. As our Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Shri Conrad K. Sangma, has already arrived, will arrive in 5 minutes. So, first off, I would request that we welcome Mr. Hemant Kanoria, Chairman, Kanoria Foundation, who is considered as the pioneer of India's infrastructure revolution. It is one of India's largest conglomerates with interests Okay, before we proceed with the second session, which is the inaugural session, let us please be seated because the Honorable Chief Minister is about to arrive and we will begin with the second session and I will continue with. Thank you so much. Apologies for the inconvenience. Thank you. While we can have a brief audio visual presentation on fostering India-Japan Asian confluence. Thank you. Once I request everyone will arrive very, very soon. So I request everyone to please take their seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise and welcome our Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Shri Conrad K. Sangma. A big round of applause. Be seated. I request Mr. Hemant Kanoria, Chairman Kanoria, to also join us on stage. I request Shri MP Besbarwa, Chairman Governing Council, Asian Confluence, to also join us on stage. Next, I would also like to invite Shri N.J. Gante, Secretary and OSC Establishment, Ministry of External Affairs and Acting DDG, ICWA, on stage, as well as His Excellency Mr. Onoichi, Ambassador of Japan to India and Bhutan, to also join us on stage. Let us also welcome Mr. Sabyasachi Datta to join us on stage. Thank you so much. Before we begin with the inaugural session, I would now request Mr. Sabyasachi Datta, Executive Director, Asian Confluence, to please come forward and felicitate Mr. Shri Conrad K. Sangma, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, with a traditional Uttoryu. Up next, sir, could you do the honors and felicitate His Excellency Onokechi, Ambassador of Japan. We would also like to felicitate Shri N.J. Gangte, Secretary and OSC Establishment, Ministry of External Affairs and Acting ICW. And finally, Shri MP Bes Barwa, Chairman, Governing Council, Asian Confluence. Thank you once again to all our esteemed guests. To further set and context for this next session, I would like to invite Mr. Savyata.
A very, very good evening. Konnichiwa, Namaskar. Esteemed Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Shri Conrad Sangma, His Excellency Ambassador Kenichi Ono, Ambassador of Japan to India, Ambassador Gangte, Secretary Minister of External Affairs, Shri Hemant Kanoria ji, Chairman Kanoria Foundation, Shri Bez Barua, Chairman Asian Confluence, Governing Council. We also joined here by His Ambassador Riaz Hamidullah, High Commissioner of Bangladesh, India, Ambassador Takahashi Naoki, Deputy Chief of Mission of the Embassy of Japan in Bangladesh, Dr. Kayashima Sasakawa Peace Foundation, esteemed members of the Asian Confluence Governing Council, distinguished friends from the Japanese and Indian industry, senior leaders, officers from the state government of Meghalaya, Nagaland, Assam, and Manipur, members of the media, academia, think tanks, and civil society, welcome you to our home state and this beautiful city of Shillong, which has cherry blossom. We are honored to collaborate with the government of Meghalaya, the Embassy of Japan, and the Ministry of External Affairs, and Peace Foundation, bringing you the sixth edition of the KIZUNA dialogue. Or might know, KIZUNA, the word, Japanese word, means heart to heart. Northeast is where India's Act East policy and Japan's free and open Indo-Pacific vision converge. India and Japan share many common threads embedded in history, culture, lifestyle, and aspirations in this region. Since its inception in 2020, KIZUNA contests on Northeast India and the Bay of Bengal region. Building on 5 successful editions, the 6th conclave will further strengthen institutional dialogue and catalyze sectoral partnerships. It is bringing industry, academia, and policymakers together on one platform, putting the Northeast at the epicenter development discourse uh, between India and Japan for a prosperous Indo-Pacific and a vibrant Bay of Bengal region. In line with the will of the political gentlemen, I think you will agree with me when I say we are living in extremely eventful and challenging times. On one hand, we are witnessing a strong sense of geopolitical churn, reshaping the global order and reconfiguring global supply chains. On the other hand, there is immense pressure on the planet from climate change, combining the need for more green initiatives. In this midst, natural disasters like the pandemic we witnessed years ago and technology-led disruptors such as artificial intelligence, AI, are promising to change the way we operate. In this churn, change seems to be the only constant. It will be vital skill. But we thus truly need a KIZUNA, heart-to-heart communication with our friends to overcome our hurdles, ideate and find solutions. This conclave first dives deep into 3 sectors we believe the Tata OSAT plant in Jagi Road, Assam, on the border of Meghalaya, is a game-changing project. I would say much like what Suzuki did in the auto sector in the early 80s. The plant can become the epicenter for catalytic growth of several ancillary industries. Services, logistics, skilling, hospitality, and healthcare. Coupled with the power of AI, this ecosystem can have far-reaching value to the region. In this, we are joined by Chinese and Indian industry and centers of excellence from across economy and the clean energy sector. In the last conclave in Guwahati, in which you, our Honorable Chief Minister, gave the value address, you might up some recommendations. One of the ideas came from friends in the industry to do deep with Japanese technologies for the region. To tackle issues such as management of large urban solid waste, synergizing with the agri-farm sector, production of biogases from farm waste, and production of organic fertilizers which feed the organic industry and products. Here we are joined by several companies in the circular economy. 3, the skilling sector. A massive scale up of skilled human resources. Several companies are operating in the region. there are opportunities to be unleashed for the youth and challenges to be solved. Japan's challenges of an aging population, as we and just Honorable Chief Minister, we had a presentation from the JICA India head. There are lots of opportunities for the skilling, as you yourself well very know. We therefore have 50 companies and business organizations that this dialogue serves as a meaningful matching of interests and businesses. Besides hosting industry government engagements, dedicated sessions on geopolitics, security, and regional development in track 2 mode with think tanks and the diplomatic representatives from India and Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal is also a feature of KIZUNA. We work together to ensure sustainable growth to the last mile in these turbulent times. How can we leverage on the game-changing projects of connectivity and infrastructure in the and mindfulness city project port project in Bangladesh? How can these all synergize for win-win solutions? This is a core topic of common interest. The presence of our esteemed representatives, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC will be here tomorrow. The High Commissioner of Bangladesh is here. We have a Member of Parliament from Nepal, a representative of the Gelefu Mindfulness City project in Bhutan. In our neighborhood gives this conclave the much needed and dimension. The conclave will also be tomorrow by the State Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, who is coming on a 24-hour visit. I'm not wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've taken too much time, but I have been able to lay out a short context of this KIZUNA. Of course, should you need any help in the next 2 days, reach out and try and use opportunity to make things happen. Thank you very much again for being here. Second, Asian Confluence to kindly give his welcome remarks.
Respected Chief Minister, Mr. Sangma, His Excellency Mr. Gangte, Mr. Kanoria, our young energetic director, executive director, my colleagues in the Governing Council, Excellencies present here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and guests from Japan. It is indeed a great pleasure and a great privilege and honor for me, on behalf of Asian Confluence, to stand here to welcome you. Such an eminent and learned gathering here is a privilege for all of us, of thinkers, practitioners, policymakers, all who are gathered here. We hope you have a very, very pleasant stay here. Have carry every one of you what's happening and things where we can join together. Thank you so much for your presence and support to KIZUNAs, and as you have always done for the earlier KIZUNAs. I have no pretension of trying to say something of value or relevance for the serious discussions that will follow tomorrow, all day, and in future. Saibba also has laid out the whole picture of what the purpose is and what we have done and what is the road ahead for us. The fund that we had outlined a wide expanse of development activities that are taking place, which create a lot of hope and optimism in this region, as well for the wider regions of the world. But development, as someone had mentioned in the earlier one, needs to be seen in a wider context of human development, achieving the possibilities of each individual human being. And very rightly, it was said in the earlier session that when peace becomes the foundation, development becomes destiny. So that interrelationship between these two is very important. And that's why I would like to briefly mention what Asian Confluence stands for and why our ideas and values are so important for what you are discussing today and tomorrow. It will be pertinent to share with you again what our philosophy is, what values that drive us, and what we believe in. Very briefly, let me say that our focus is the northeast of this country. A land, we say, is like no other land. We are looking at the sustainable development of the lives of the people in this region with efforts that we combine with the friends all across in our neighbor or beyond. In doing so, we try to focus on shared culture, history, resources, values, geographical interdependence with our neighbors, and also try to harness them for common good of the common people. Our primary purpose is people-to-people contact to build a strong human society all across. We believe that development policies must reflect their needs and aspirations. We try to give voice to the people, the third phase, as we call them, try to connect their voice with the policymakers and others who matter. Your presence here today, sir, Mr. Chief Minister, gives a very strong message. First, you represent the people. You are the representative of the people, and we see you as the voice of the people. Second, you are also in Northeast identity, the young, aspiring Northeast that we are now looking at, the hopes and aspirations of. Third, you signify people and policy connect. Your presence here allows us to think that there can be a connect between what we discuss and what the policymakers can carry forward. So we have great expectations on that count. We are very happy that KIZUNA Dialogue has been a landmark development in that journey of ours. The concept note explains the background, and Mr. Saibba has also explained what has been done. I shall not go into all those details, but let me very briefly share why the dialogue is so important and relevant to the ideology of ESCON and the pressing need of the world today. Most important there is, it is coming together of thinking, caring people for development. We are happy that we are meeting at the beginning of a new year with a lot of hope and trying to forget a green year of failure of the global society and the absence of what we have been asking for, a rule-based global order. However, for us, peace is not just the absence of war. Peace is a positive context of working together for betterment of the human mind and human destiny. We cannot ignore the surroundings in which we have to implement the development aspirations that we have talked about and going to talk tomorrow in the dialogue. We are so happy, in fact, that Sasakawa Foundation is also with us, and we hope that they will guide us on the importance of merging in our journey of together, and to raise the voice for the people, for a world where humanity is respected, where we wage war not to kill people, but to kill hunger and malnutrition. COVID recently had taught us a survival lesson. The global community had coined a survival motto for the future, and it was called that the future is people, planet, and prosperity. Are we forgetting these lessons very soon? The Millennium Development Goal said reflection becoming embroiled in endless discussions and little action. Will Sustainable Development Goals also go the same way? Will the world continue to be blind to the teachings of history that it repeats itself? Was not the notion of cultural superiority a factor which facilitated the spread of colonial ominous? Do you see ominous signs? The same decade, the people have to get together. In the midst of such doubts, and the initiative like KIZUNA dialogue bring a ray of hope. Together, we say even a 5,000-mile journey must start with a small step. We have taken this step. It is very important that we keep going. Let the third space be heard. Let the tribe increase. If all of you join hands together, make it bigger, make it reach the wider human community. Small though Escon is, will not be found wanting in that effort. I remember the saying of Edmund Burke that no than he who did nothing because he could do only a little. Every little thing counts, and we'll do that. I hope the deliberations will be leading to very show in a way and for wider regions all success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that address. Now, may I request Mr. Hemant Kanoria to kindly give us a brief perspective on his views on this region. Mr. Hemant Kanoria is represents a very big voice in the business community, especially from the eastern quadrant of India. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Mr. Conrad Sangma, Ambassador of Japan, Mr. Sabyasachi Datta, Mr. Bezwarwa, Mr. Kentuck, and distinct good evening to all of you. It's a great honor for inviting me here. And at the Asian Confluence, I also had an opportunity to visit the office of the Asian Confluence, and I was really impressed because it was not about the business. It was a confluence of culture, business, tradition, everything bringing together. And that is what Mr. Datta is taking forward. I really appreciate it. Because coming from the business, I'll straight away get into business. The industry perspective, if you look at it, all of us, especially in India, we always looked at the West, and we wanted to ape the West. We wanted to follow everything of the West. But now, if we look at it, the West is in a chaotic condition. If we start from the US, less said about the US better, because we do not know what the tariffs will be. The whole world is at tenterhooks with America. We come to Europe, again, the Europe is in recession. We have Ukraine and Russian war. So if you look at the Middle East, would also having its own foremost countries, which announced that we are going to look east, and it was mentioned that the northeastern part of India, Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, all these particular states, they are the epicenter of the Indian confluence towards Asia. We have looked at, I still remember because I come from the infrastructure space and almost started about 35 years back in the infrastructure, and which was both physical and social infrastructure. I've seen how the development of the whole country had taken place. We had no ports, we had no power, the power was in a bad situation, we had potholes everywhere. Now, if we travel on the roads in India, we feel proud because it is even better than, it is definitely better than the US, but comparatively, it is also better than Europe. And that when we are traveling on the Indian roads. So basically, the entire infrastructure in the last 20, 30 years in the country has dramatically changed. And when China talked about one belt, one road, for India to connect the entire to connect South Asia and Asia through road, we are doing it through the ports, but also through road, would be a great initiative. Because when you have the infrastructure of roads or power, it helps you to build up the entire development, the social development takes place. You have industries coming up, training centers, you have hospitals, you have hospitality. Everything just springs up if you have the infrastructure which gets created. And so therefore, I think that it is time has come that from our country and the Asian influence, with the help and assistance of Japan, thinks about a road which can be built up, and you can have a ribbon development along the road where all kinds of industries and infrastructure, hospitals, hotels, everything starts coming up. And I think that it has to go through the Northeast because Northeast, especially Assam and Meghalaya, they are very well positioned to capitalize on this particular opportunity. And they have to take the lead. Fortunately, both Assam and Meghalaya, they have very, very forward-looking chief ministers, very young. And I think that Meghalaya has the youngest chief minister in the country, and he has been there for such a long time. So, we are very proud of you, Mr. Sangma. I actually happen to know your father very well. And I remember as a young kid, I used to go with my father to meet him, and I have a lot of fond memories about him. So, I know that both of you can take this initiative of building up this road which can connect the entire South Asia, going right up to Singapore. And that is a possibility which is there, which can start from here. And now with Bangladesh also, we hope the situation will improve. So from India, from West Bengal, if we get connected through Bangladesh to Assam, Meghalaya, and going right up to Indonesia, right up to Indonesia. So that would really help the development. It could be a large project, but nevertheless, I'm sure that most of the countries will be in a position to participate in this. And this is something which I think that will be the greatest infrastructure project which can be taken up through the Asian Confluence, which you have taken the initiative. The other smaller parts of things which we can look at, as it has been also discussed, is about putting up training centers, universities here. Japanese universities can come up in Meghalaya and Assam, where you can have the training for people in hospitality, in healthcare, in engineering, because these are the kind of people and skill sets which can be developed in India. And as we were discussing in the earlier panel also, that Meghalaya is blessed with having a very young population. India as such has a young population, but Meghalaya is still blessed with having a very young population. having a younger population compared to all over the country. And so therefore, people can be trained. The literacy level is high. So therefore, it is very easy for people and to be in a position to have participation for them to go over to Japan and other parts of the world. Basically, we have seen that, the development, one is the physical infrastructure, which is important, at the same time, the social infrastructure, which is very critical because the aspirations of the youth today is much higher than what it used to be compared when we were growing up. So people need all the basic amenities which we used to call it luxury, have become the basic amenity. So therefore, that is needed. So how do we have an all-round development? And we had taken from our group, we had taken an initiative in the villages all over the country, where we have empowered people in the villages, trained them. We call it the Sahaj Mitra, the Common Service Center, it's basically a brick and click model. So everything is available to people on the technology platform, but there is a physical center there, which is run by an entrepreneur. So therefore, you create more entrepreneurs instead of people from the villages going and seeking jobs. They become job creators, and that is what India needs. And that is the initiative which can be taken up, especially in states like Meghalaya and Assam and the entire Northeast, because of the high level of education which is there. And also, I think that people are having that initiative to take up the entrepreneurship, because for entrepreneurship you need initiative, and I'm sure that people have that initiative. And because with such forward looking leaders here, I think that the training programs can work very well. Japan has taken this initiative of participating in the northeastern region in a big way. So I think that it is electronics industry, even pharmaceutical should be looked at, because pharmaceutical is another industry which requires less of pollution. Northeast compared to all over India has less of pollution. When we come to the northeastern part, especially Shillong and all, we can see the stars. In Calcutta or Delhi, we never see the stars. It is only to get a bang on our head that we can see a star. Otherwise, there's no way that we can see the star in the sky. And that is where I think the pharmaceutical industry, clean-based industries can come up here. And all over the country, you see, because people have now started looking from, even from Calcutta, we are so near and close to Assam and Meghalaya, etc. But we always looked at the west or the southern part or the northern part of India. We never used to come here. The first initiative which when I took up of building up a new city in new town in Guwahati, everyone said that it is going to be a disaster. And now over 350 acres, we are building up a new township. It has been well received by the people. It was an initiative initially 10 years back, seemed that it will not be successful. So I think that Northeast has an opportunity. It is well positioned from the perspective of industries all of from the other parts of the country. We are quite keen to invest in Northeast. I also, my wife belongs to Tinsukia, so therefore, basically also it brings me to my, as they say, that my sasral is here, so I have to come back again and again. But Northeast has a great potential. We are all very keen to see that the initiatives yesterday with the Secretary of Power, and he was saying that almost about 40,000 crore in the power sector is being invested in Assam. So we can look at even in Meghalaya. Meghalaya has coal here, so they can be thermal-based power plants. They could be the solar-based power plants. So there are opportunities which are there. Now you have battery storage in Meghalaya. You have solar
both sides. In an increasingly fragmented and polarized world, India and Japan recognize that economic security now shapes geopolitics as profoundly as traditional defense concerns. Recognizing this, our two prime ministers launched the Economic Security Initiative during the 15th Annual Summit on 27th August 2025. The objective of the Economic Security Initiative is to ensure that both countries collaborate in priority sectors such as critical minerals, semiconductors, telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, and clean energy. Critical minerals is a particularly important sector of collaboration. During the 15th Annual Summit, both sides signed an MOC in the field of mineral resources to prioritize investments and joint projects with a view to attain supply chain resilience. An important project in this regard is the collaboration between Indian Rare Earths Limited and Toyota Soso in Visakhapatnam. There are a lot more that both countries can partnership together. Semiconductors is another promising area of collaboration between both sides. Many Japanese companies like Renesas and Tokyo Electron are coming to India and associating themselves with the semiconductor ecosystem in India in line with the Make in India vision. The semiconductor and test facility in Jagi Road, Assam has the potential to become an important milestone in India-Japan semiconductor collaboration. The Northeast is uniquely positioned to contribute to this vision. Geographically and economically, it can anchor India's integration with Southeast Asia and the Bay of Bengal region. Economic relations have traditionally been a major pillar of our special strategic and global partnership. Japan is one of the top investors in India, and the presence of Japanese companies in India is significant. There are about 1,400 Japanese companies in India, and the number is growing. At the recent summit, both sides set an ambitious investment target of 10 trillion yen over the next 10 years in private investment, reflecting the scale of our economic ambition and shared confidence in India's growth story. Friends, I'd like to highlight that Japan has also played an important role in India's development journey, be it Maruti Suzuki, which transformed mobility of Indians about 4 decades ago, and the introduction of metros, starting with Delhi Metro at the turn of the century. Today, the high-speed rail project from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, which will be yet another milestone in our mobility partnership. Going forward, we believe that integrating small and medium enterprises, particularly into the Northeast, will be key, tapping on our complementary strengths. Friends, as supply chains and industrial ecosystems are digitized, data security becomes central to economic resilience. India's experience with population scale digital public infrastructure, including digital identity, payments, and data governance frameworks, has demonstrated how interoperable and trusted digital systems can drive inclusive growth. Japanese expertise in submarine cable networks and trusted hardware systems complements India's digital innovation strengths. Together, we can work toward an open and secure digital corridor across Indo-Pacific, promoting human-centric and transparent digital standards. Ultimately, no ecosystem can thrive without human capital. Japan faces democratic pressures and labor shortages, while India's youthful workforce represents one of world's largest demographic dividends. Japan has targeted the right region, the northeast of India, for investment in opportune development cooperation with Japan. The presence of Indian workforce in Japan will highly contribute to the economic growth of the country. Besides acting the living bridge, as a living bridge between the two countries in formatting stronger bilateral ties through people-to-people linkages. Expanding participation under programs such as the Specified Skilled Worker and Technical Intern Training Program framework and strengthening language and cultural training initiatives can help bridge this structural complementarity. We have a human resource exchange initiative in place that provides for a two-way exchange of 500,000 personnel in 5 years, including 50,000 skilled personnel and potential talents from India to Japan. The youth of Northeast India can particularly contribute to this initiative between both sides. This is not merely about mobility, it is about long-term integration, skills transfer, institutional partnerships, and shared professional standards. By deepening educational exchanges and workforce collaboration, we strengthen the societal foundations of our strategic partnership. As we look ahead, we do so with optimism and confidence. Next year, India and Japan will celebrate the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations. This milestone offers us a valuable opportunity to reflect on our journey so far and to renew our commitment to an even stronger, more dynamic, and future-oriented partnership. In this vision, Northeast of India stands today not merely as a geographic gateway, but as a potential hub of Indo-Pacific innovation and connectivity. Moments of global disruption can become moments of strategic renewal if guided by vision and partnership. The task before governments, industry, and civil society is to deepen commitment, streamline collaboration, and build enduring ecosystems. Strength our bonds of trust are KIZUNA. India and Japan can shape a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous Indo-Pacific. In conclusion, I wish the conclave every success in its endeavors of converging the visions of scaling up of partnership between India and Japan, a torchbearer in its endeavor and fostering deeper and broader engagement in the years to come. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, sir. You gave us a broad view of the whole spectrum of cooperation between India and Japan. May I now request His Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan to India, Ambassador Kinchi Ono, to kindly address us. Over to you, Excellency.
Shri Koran Sangma, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Shri Ganti, MEA and ICWA, Mr. Kanaria Foundation, Mr. Bezbara, Foreign Council Asian Conference, and Data-san Asian Conference. Distinguished guests, ambassadors, professors, doctors, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, namaskar, konbawa. It is a great pleasure for me to address the opening ceremony of the 6th India-Japan Intellectual Conclave KIZUNA here in Shillong. At the outset, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to the bereaved family of Honorable Ricky Shinkon. He was so dedicated to promoting the relationship between Japan and his beautiful state of Meghalaya that we are deeply saddened by the loss of a good friend of mine and my country. I'd like to pray for him. I would like to join my previous speakers to send my special thanks to the Asian Conference in hosting the sixth KIZUNA Conclave. This is a great conference. This is my second attendance at this conclave. Last year, I learned a lot from the in-depth discussions in the panel. This year, I really look forward to coming here, Meghalaya. And Chief Minister Sanguma, it's a great honor and a pleasure for us to be with you today. Chief Minister has consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to strengthening relations with Japan. Excellency has visited Japan on several occasions and has actively engaged with local government and business leaders to build closer ties. I'm delighted that he is once again participating in this conclave, and I very much look forward to hearing and sharing his visions. Actually, just before coming here, I had a very good conversation, in-depth conversation with the Chief Minister on various aspects of Japan-Meghalaya cooperation, including agriculture, tourism, and people-to-people exchanges. So I very much look forward to hearing his views here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marks the 10th anniversary of the Free and Open Indo-Pacific FOIP vision, which was first articulated in 2016. Enhancing connectivity in India's northeastern region and the Bay of Bengal, as well as developing industrial value chains across the region, constitutes one of the essential pillars of the vision and plays a vital role in achieving FOIP. Over the past decade, we have witnessed remarkable development across the northeastern states and steady progress in strengthening connectivity. This progress is undoubtedly the result of sustained efforts by both the government of India and the respective state governments. The union budget announced on 1st February further testifies to the government of India's strong commitment to the region. The allocation to the Ministry of Development of the Northeastern region in the latest budget has been significantly increased from the previous fiscal year. Across all ministries, more than 1 lakh crore rupees has been allocated for the projects related to this region, underscoring the growing national priority. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Kumar Bhaskar Verma Bridge across the Brahmaputra River. This landmark project has reduced travel time between Guwahati and North Guwahati from several hours to just 7 minutes. It is a powerful testament of the transformation underway in the region, with a view to significantly enhancing both connectivity and economic development. Connectivity, in my view, consists of 3 dimensions. First, physical connectivity as a hardware, roads, bridges, and others. Second, institutional connectivity as a software. And third, people-to-people connectivity. Japan has been advancing comprehensive cooperation across all 3 dimensions, hard, soft, and people-to-people. Through the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, we have steadily supported road infrastructure projects throughout the northeastern states. Among them, the project constructing the bridge connecting Dhubri in Assam and Purubari in Meghalaya is expected to reduce the travel time between those places, which currently takes 2.5 hours by ferry or over 8 hours by road, to just 23 minutes. In addition, Japan has extended cooperation in fields such as healthcare, forest management, disaster risk reduction, and Japanese language education. These initiatives lay the foundation for future industrial growth in the region. Furthermore, Japan's support for the construction of the Matabari Deep Seaport in Bangladesh is expected to become a game changer for logistics in the Bay of Bengal region, facilitating the development of industrial value chains linking the northeastern region with the broader Bay of Bengal area. I am proud to emphasize that Japan has contributed to the development and connectivities of India's northeastern region, and that our commitment is here to stay to deepen this cooperation even further. This Kizuna Conclave has evolved in tandem with these efforts to advance FOIP. With each edition, I sense growing interest among Japanese stakeholders. This year, more than 60 representatives from Japanese companies and organizations operating in India, as well as the Japanese media, are joining us from Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, and other cities. The importance of this conclave was also highly appreciated during the strategic dialogue held in January between the two foreign ministers of Japan and India. Esteemed guests, 10 years have passed since Japan and India elevated our relationship to a special strategic and global partnership. During Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan last year, our leaders reaffirmed that the partnership has made significant progress over the past decade and agreed to build a mutually complementary relationship aimed at ensuring security and prosperity for the next generation. Among the priority areas identified by the two leaders, here I'd like to pick up or strengthen particularly three sectors, which are particularly relevant to the themes of this sixth Kizuna Conclave. They are first semiconductors, second clean energy, and third human resource exchanges. In the field of semiconductors, cooperation between Japan and India is steadily advancing. On the occasion of last year's conclave, I myself visited the construction site of the Tata Electronics semiconductor facility in Jagi Road, Assam, together with the representatives of Japanese companies. Since then, Japanese companies have increasingly joined the project as suppliers, and Japan's presence in India's semiconductor supply chain is rapidly expanding. Today as well, member companies of the Semiconductor Committee of the Japan Chamber of Commerce and Industry in India have visited the construction site and will participate in tomorrow's session as well. I look forward to further development of business collaboration in this critical sector. The second is clean energy. Clean energy is another area of pressing global importance and one in which Japanese companies possess advanced technology expertise. Last September, Prime Minister Modi laid the foundation stone for the bamboo bioethanol plant project in Goragat district, Assam. This project will contribute not only to India's carbon neutrality goals, but also to income generation for local communities through the utilization of bamboo, a key regional resource. The project is financed by the JBIC, Japan Bank for International Cooperation, and Japanese technologies, including those of Canadavia Corporation and other firms, are being utilized. I'm pleased that leading Japanese companies will also participate in tomorrow's session on clean energy, and I'm confident that this field holds tremendous potential for further cooperation between Japan and this region. The third is human resource exchange. This is another pillar of our partnership. During the leaders' meeting last year, our two governments agreed to aim at exchanging more than 500,000 people in 5 years, including the exchanges of 50,000 skilled personnel and potential talents from India to Japan. The northeastern region, with its talented and motivated young population, has great potential to lead in this area. Sending organizations are strengthening their activities in the region, and Japanese local governments have also begun engaging more actively with this region. I'm pleased to learn that during his visit to Japan last year, Honorable Chief Minister Sanguma met caretakers from Meghalaya working in Kobe City in Hyogo Prefecture, for example. I look forward to hearing from government officials and experts tomorrow about further steps to promote skill development and people-to-people exchanges. Estimate next year, 2027, will mark the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between Japan and India. Our ties, however, extend far beyond these 75 years. They are rooted in centuries of spiritual and cultural exchanges dating back to the introduction of Buddhism in the 6th century to Japan, and they have expanded and deepened dynamically through shared strategic and economic interests, keeping our traditional exchanges as precious fields. I visited Kohima in Nagaland in 2024 and Impal in Manipur last year to pay tribute to all those who lost their lives in the Second World War, including former Japanese soldiers. Through the warm welcome extended by local communities, I felt firsthand the deep historical bonds between our two peoples. Also, it was a distinct honor for me to welcome Honorable Shuri Rijiju, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Minister of Minority Affairs, as the chief guest of the Emperor's birthday reception I hosted earlier this month. His gracious presence was truly engaging and served as a powerful symbol of the enduring cooperation between Japan and the Northeast region. At a time when the international community faces profound transformations and numerous challenges, it is increasingly important for countries that share democratic values and fundamental principles to work together to uphold peace and prosperity. Japan and India are natural partners who can lead in this endeavor. The development and enhanced connectivity of this region and the Bay of Bengal area are essential to realizing this shared vision, offering significant strategic and economic potential. This conclave, KIZUNA conclave, serves as an essential platform to translate this potential into tangible outcomes. I sincerely hope that the two-day gathering of distinguished professionals and practitioners will generate new partnerships and concrete cooperation. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。ダニエル。
Thank you, Excellency. Domo arigato gozaimasu for that extremely inspiring address. And now I think we are all looking forward to hearing from our Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya. Sir, you know this so well. You've visited Japan so many times. You're actively taking things forward. So, and thank you very much to make time to make this address. So over to you now, sir. Thank you.
His Excellency, Onikichi, our ambassador from Japan to India, Mr. Gangteji, our secretary from MEA, Besparwaji, the chairman of the governing council, Kanoria-ji, chairman of the Kanoria Foundation, Sabyachachi, and the entire team of Asian Confluence, all dignitaries who are present out here, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it was getting a bit boring just listening to the speeches. So I thought I'll just make it a bit more fun by giving a small presentation. This is Meghalaya's growth story. Meghalaya was growing at about 8.5% in the first, from 2015 to about 2020. And after 2020, we have grown at almost about 15.3% in terms of economic growth. In terms of the nation, Meghalaya is the second fastest growing state in the country. Though we are very small, but we are growing pretty fast. Not only that, we are the only state in the country today that is growing at 10% real GDP. So not nominal GDP, but 10% real GDP for 3 consecutive years. So it's a consistency that matters. So you may grow one year, then you may come down, but Meghalaya is the only state in the country which has grown consistently for 3 consecutive years at 10%. And if you look at the overall economic growth, the size of the economy, we had Assam growing at 89%, UP growing at 77% between the financial year of 2021-25, and Meghalaya grew at 76.5%. Next. This is basically the transformation journey that we are aspiring Meghalaya to see. Meghalaya had a lot of challenges. We had a lot of difficulties. And of course, it was not easy for us to stabilize things because there were certain foundations that need to be strengthened and certain bases and capacity to be increased. So we had a huge problem, and we decided that we need to work on a transformation kind of a journey, an aspiration journey that will not just look at the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but look at all the way to 2047, as Honorable Prime Minister has said. Next. This is a very important slide for us. Now, when we believe that we have an economic target, where we want to move forward in terms of an economic goal, we realize that it cannot be just a goal that is a number of, say, GDP, doubling the GDP or making it certain $1 billion. You need to actually have a detailed breakup of how you're going to work and move forward as a state in every sector, and what is going to be the contribution of every sector in how the economy will grow and how will the number of jobs and employment be created for our people. And that's why we divided it into this vision that we had. We divided it into 10 opportunities which we saw, and more importantly, 10 commitments which we as a government must give to our people. So the areas of concern, the areas of opportunity that we saw are the ones on top in orange. And we realized that there is a huge scope where we need to bring in private investment. So we went in, we deregulated things. You'll be happy to know that we are among the top states in the country today to have deregulated different government regulations. About 400 plus regulations were deregulated. And today we are ranking among the top in terms of steps being taken for that. We have a unified portal for investments. We have a system where just simply you enter it. In the last 1.5 years, large number of investments, maybe the highest investments that Meghalaya has ever seen, has happened in the last 1.5, 2 years after we have reformed this entire investment scenario in the state. Similarly, we are seeing opportunities in all these different sectors. For example, sports, creative economy. Sports and creative economy. We realize that while our people are passionate about sports, I think it's important that we need to create this passion into an economic opportunity. Can we have a sports economy? Can we see our youngsters, becoming players who will play football, at the national and international level? Can we have footballers from here going to Japan one day and playing football in Japan or in Europe? So we see that as an opportunity, and we feel that we need to invest in that. So therefore, there needs to be a game plan. It cannot just happen just because we want it to happen. So how will we make it happen? All those plans and details were met. Similarly, in entrepreneurship and skilling, climate resilient economy, increased public investments, urban transformation, these are all key areas which we feel that opportunity is there for Meghalaya. But while we do that, we very, very firmly believe as a state that economic growth is important. But if this economic growth does not come with inclusivity, with equity, and with a process where every human being is touched and is affected and impacted, then we are failing in our duty to do justice to what we are doing for our people. So therefore, we realize that while we have economic growth and opportunities, we must stick to commitments. Commitments like basic, the connectivity and mobility issues, drinking water, reliable power, all of these things are important. Nutrition and early childhood development. We are one of the first few states in the country today to actually have a program for early childhood development. I think most of the people who are from Japan and who have joined us here, and many people who are connected to different parts of the world and different programs, you realize the importance of early childhood development. Sadly, in India and even in our state, we did not invest in the early childhood development. And we all know that 90% of the child's brain grows till the point the child is 8 years old. And therefore, the neuron connectivity and all of this happens during that phase. But for India and for the state of Meghalaya, this realization came a bit late, but nonetheless, we have started it. So we are the first state, I think, in the country to start a massive program for early childhood development. Similarly, we want to make sure that there is housing for all, affordable health care, a caring and empowering economy. Now, one thing I wanted to share with you, which of course we didn't see in Japan, but I'm sure it's there. But I learned in Singapore. So when I went to Singapore, we met our nurses because our nurses are working in Singapore also. So when we went there, we saw something called active aging center. And in that active aging center, they have a space for the elders. But while the elders are there, they have a space where young children, at 5 years, 6 years, will come to this center. So you have a space where the elders and the children come together. They play games together. They share stories together. They do activities together. And we realize it's such a beautiful model where you're creating a very caring and a very sensitive economy, sensitive society. And these kind of programs are being brought into this the caring and empowering state. So these kind of programs are being done. The reason I'm showing this to you is because to give you the idea that we have a plan, we have a roadmap, we have a vision and a target, and we have figured out a way and a path to reach to that target, which may not be perfect. We will adapt along the way. Things will change. Difficulties will come, hurdles will come, but we know where we want to go and how we want to get there. Next. Again, this is just to show the expenditure, how the growth has happened. So while the economic growth happened, this is how the economic expenditure on different aspects, whether it's revenue expenditure we had or the capital expenditure. And you can see that the capital expenditure grew at 16.6%. So that's the kind of growth. The dark purple is the capital expenditure that grew. And for those who are obviously into finance, we'll know that revenue expenditure is not just salaries, but there's a huge component of also welfare programs, schemes, supports that we give to our farmers, musicians, sports persons, students, so on and so forth. Next. Yeah, so again, this is the same thing. So this is how also it happened. So we started many programs. So when we came in 2018, so now this is the 8th year of our government. We'll be completing 8 years, in fact, on the 6th of March. So that's this 8-year journey we have had. So we have done many programs that it's ensured that many schemes, many welfare schemes, many programs that targeted farmers, that targeted the youth, that targeted students, musicians, sports persons. All these kind of programs were done. And today our programs are affecting, lakhs and lakhs and hundreds and thousands of people. Next. That's fine. These are just numbers. You can show me the, you can show me the pictures of the projects. I just want to show some of the projects like the Secretariat and sorry, I'm just going to bore you with some pictures and all that stuff. Yeah, you just leave that. This is a nice one. Just to share with you, I don't know if any finance minister does this, but this was my reply yesterday to the budget. So while I was replying, it was a presentation actually I was giving. So I presented the whole budget and everything. These are just some pictures. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, this is a fun one. Yeah, we can go back. Yeah, this is a great one. So you know that we love music, right? So Meghalaya loves music, and Meghalaya's people will love music. I love music. That could be me playing the guitar right there. But anyway, my point is, we realize that our kids are passionate about music. And so we come out with a program where we support artists to do busking. So they are playing in in tourist locations, they're playing in the market area in different locations. And government of Meghalaya is paying them for doing that because we believe that we must encourage them. And today we are so happy to see that our artists today are being taken to Hard Rock Cafe throughout the country and they're performing. Next. This is again another thing which I want to show you, that we realize that while we are moving forward as a state, we need to look at ourselves trying to breach that ceiling of being looked at as a state or a nation that just does average stuff. We want to go beyond that, and therefore today, if you look at some of the projects, and these are all projects that are going on right now as we speak. These have been tendered out. Work construction is going on. This is going to be the longest cantilever skywalk in the country. This is going to be an experiential center where we're going to promote our heritage. This is going to be maybe one of the few, or I think only, rain museum in one of the heaviest rainfall areas in the world, called Mausanram. This again is a wellness center that we are bringing up. All these projects are under construction. We hope that in the next 2 years' time, while our airport also is expanding, where direct flights will come into Shillong from all different metros, which will happen by 2027 end, these projects will be complete. And therefore, all of these pieces of the puzzle, or this picture that we're trying to create of Meghalaya, will all fit into a final a picture. This again is a very big project which we're doing in Sora, which is Cherrapunji. And this again, the funds have been sanctioned. Tender process is going on. We expect this to happen within the next 2 to 3 years. Next. This is a great one. This is going to be the second, tallest towers, or a kind of a structure in India after the Statue of Liberty, Statue of Unity. So it's a 123-meter monolith towers. As you know, monoliths are part of our culture, the Khasi tradition, Khasi culture. So these are going to be, lifts are going to be there inside. You can actually go up. And there's going to be a glass circular on top, which you can walk on. And this is going to be like one of the most iconic projects that we as a state are doing. And this is going to be, of course, in the new Shillong area. Next. This is fine. We are hosting the national games next year. This, of course, was I just brought this presentation on the spot. This is a presentation I wasn't preparing for this crowd, but yeah. Okay, this is a great one. So this is the largest football stadium in the country. Largest dedicated football stadium in the country. This will have 40,000 capacity. As you all know that Meghalaya, unlike the rest of the country, which is very cricket focused, so am I. But Meghalaya is football centric. So everybody here loves football. People love music. That's how our culture is. And therefore we realized that, and we said that, well, then we will make Meghalaya and Shillong into the football capital of the country. If anybody thinks about football, well, it's going to be here in Meghalaya. If you want to have the finals of whichever biggest tournament you're going to have in the country, well, you're going to have it in Shillong. So we said we're going to make that arena and that space to ensure that we have the biggest football stadium in the country, so that we will be able to go towards that goal and target of us, become the football capital of the country. Next. These are again infrastructures going on in different parts, all being implemented as we speak. This is going to be inaugurated maybe next month. This has already been done. Here, the second part is going to be inaugurated. This is again going to have a Olympic size thing. This is we're preparing for the national games, basically. That's next year. So all of this is going on as we speak. Next. Yeah, that's okay. This is fine. Next. Yeah, this is one too. Just to share with you that obviously we realize that the work should be spread all across. So we have some administrative buildings coming up in my constituency. And again, this is a convention center in my constituency. And this is going to be a big unity mall, Government of India funded. But this is going to come up in Shillong. And this is also some of the beautification work we're planning to do in Shillong. I mean, planning to mean it's going on right now. We have the work to be completed in about a year's time. Next. Yeah, so the IT park, we have the second phase of the IT park. A lot of you may know, may not know, but IT is again a very big thing that we are doing, and of course, it's not at the scale of what's happening in Jagi Road in terms of the chip manufacturing that's going to happen there. But we are playing our part, and we are laying the foundations to be there, to be able to support this entire ecosystem that's going to develop, and this which is going to be required for the entire area to develop as a technology hub. So we are want to be part of that story, want to be part of that process, and therefore we realize that we need to prepare in terms of the infrastructure that we require out here, as well as the manpower. So all of these things are being planned. There's not enough time for me to show all of that, but all of these things are happening. So the skilling, which was mentioned earlier by so many speakers earlier. So we are doing all of this. Next. Yeah, this is our new secretariat. You can just go back. This is fun. This is nice. So this is just to show you the new secretariat building is coming up, which we are going to shift the entire administration to this place. Uh, about 35-40% work is already completed of the civil work. This is about 3 months, 4 months of work. We expect that by 2027 we'll be able to shift. Next. Yes, okay, next. Next. Oh, that's a good one. So that's from Japan. That's our nurse right there. Of course, we have 27 right now. We 29 of them and 10 in Singapore. We are working very hard. I went to drop the first two. We expect that 5,000 nurses will be there in the next 6 years. This is what our target is. And we have started producing and creating the ecosystem to be able to achieve that. And all that work is going on. And we realize the financial impact it will have on our people. So that's but 8 years back when I had taken over, there was no five-star hotel in Meghalaya. So last 2 years we have built this, and I mean it was being built and it stopped. So 35 years this building was being built, just so that you all know. And it took, I think the first chief minister of the state laid the foundation stone for this hotel. And then we inaugurated, means it was again lying in, in a kind of, dormant state. So we managed to finish this and get this done. So therefore, the designs and the rooms, some people complain, but I said, well, that was a design 35 years back. So I just got what there was already and I completed it. So like that, we completed the Marriott. But again, I'm happy to inform you that already we have signed the agreements for PPP projects for 4 more five-star hotels, and another 4 more will be signed within the next 2 months' time. So we expect that by the time we have the airport ready, by the time we have all the other infrastructures ready, we will have roughly about 10 five-stars here. And more importantly, we are not just relying on the five-star hotels, which of course is very important. We're also developing the entire ecosystem in terms of different tourist locations also being developed. So this is again a very important part of our process that's going forward. So we have the next 4 that are coming up is Taj again. The Taj Spa and Resort is coming up on the lake. That's a very important project. We have a hotel in, again, my constituency. Then we have one project in Sora, which is Cherpunji, and Lemon Tree, which is the Orica hotel, the brand Lemon Tree. This is coming up right here in Shillong. So these are already constructions. For some of them have started, and the others will start maybe in a month or so. Next. Yeah, we mentioned about bamboo, and so we are very keen. This again is just to show to my MLAs and to the assembly, but I just thought I'll just mention about this. So we are going to go very aggressively into bamboo production processing. So there are a lot of things that are happening, whether it's bamboo ply, whether it's ethanol, other areas. A lot of investors have shown a lot of interest. This is one area that we are very, very bullish about, and we're going to be moving very aggressively. Next. Okay, this is okay. Next. This next. Okay, this is okay. Yeah. Next. Next. Yeah. So can you just go to, oh, this is a nice one. Yeah. So just go back. Yeah. Yeah. So this, I think all of you know what this is, right? Yeah. So this is the living root bridge. Earlier, somebody was mentioning about living bridges. So this is the living root bridge. So this is actually part of our culture. So in Khasi Hills, people actually use the roots of this particular tree, and they actually create a bridge. This is real bridges being made by directing the roots in one direction, and it's a living root bridge. These root bridges take 70 years to build. So basically, last time we were there in a village called Sage. So I met the guy who was making that bridge. He started making that bridge when he was 10 years old. And today he's 70, and he's still making that bridge. And when I saw him talk about that bridge, I mean, I could see tears in his eyes, because it was the way he was looking at it and saying that this is my work of my lifetime. That's how amazing the story of a living root bridge is. And I'm so happy that that fellow who was there, Mr. War, he has also got the Padma Shri. So that was a great thing, and we're very happy that that moved forward. And you'll be happy to know that Government of India has sent its nomination for the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And as you know, there's only one nomination that goes from every country. So from India, the Living Root Bridge is the nomination this year. Next. I think that's it. Okay, so can you just go to the Japan one? Good. Last, I swear, I'm not gonna do anymore. This is the last one. Okay, this is the one with Japan. So since our ambassador had been mentioning about the different things we've done in, so this is the trip we made to Japan. So the prefecture of Miyagi was where we had gone and started to connect, because that is the direction we got from the ambassador, Indian ambassador at that time, Mr. C.B. George. And after discussion, we had made a plan and we went to Miyagi, and I'll tell you why we went to Miyagi. Next. Next. It's okay. Next. 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 No, where's it? No, go back, go back, go back. Back, one more. Yeah, that one. Yeah, this one. So this is where it started. So there's a company called Yats Corporation. It's from Miyagi. And they have a technology for shiitake mushroom. So about 6 years back, we tied up with the Yats Corporation, and we sent our farmers and our officials to get trained in Miyagi, in Yats Corporation. The people from Yats Corporation came to Shillong, trained our people, saw what we have. We invested, and about 350 million yen or 20 crores of worth of equipment was bought by Meghalaya from Yats Corporation. And those are machines that were put in right there. The picture is not there, but I hope they should have shown. Anyway, so the machines are inside there. And now we're going to make the shiitake blocks. So as you know, mushroom grows on, wood blocks. So it's either wood, or the technology that Japan has developed is they take sawdust and they compress it. And there's some technology which I don't know, or which then ultimately leads to more productivity in the mushroom. So if you grow it in the normal process, you get 1 cycle or 2 cycles in a year. Whereas if you use this technology, you get 4 cycles in a year. So therefore, 4 times double the production for the farmer. And obviously, it's much easier and much safer, and the quality is better. So these machines have been installed. We are now manufacturing the logs. We have given it to farmers. The production has started. And this is a story of our relationship and our partnership with Miyagi and with Japan. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not that we're just having this conference today just for the sake of having an event. This is really part of our plan. We have been investing in this entire process of working with Japan. We were very clear from day one that we need to be very clear of our plan in terms of our partnership. Things don't happen in one day or 1 year, So we expect that we're going to meet today and there's going to be MOU signed tomorrow, and after tomorrow the project is going to start. It doesn't work like that. You need to build trust. You need to build comfort. You need to build relationship. You need to have a plan on how you're going to move forward. And sometimes those plans will go down, sometimes it will go up, but we know that we will continue to work together. And I think that's really the message that we want to give to you, that this has been going on for 6 years now. And we are so happy that, finally our farmers are getting the benefit, and we are seeing this production happening. About 1,000 farmers have been engaged. And in fact, these are products that are real products, shiitake mushroom grown with the help of Japanese technology. Next. Okay, that's me, but yeah, looking quite bad. Just ignore that. But yeah, so we went and saw some of the machines that were there. They forced me to do that thumbs up thing. This is one of the strawberry plantations we went to. And we were trying, and we are still trying to convince Government of India. Mr. Gante can help us in that. We want to get the seeds from Japan for the variety or of the strawberries. We are really focusing on strawberry. And we have spoken to some people, and we are very hopeful that apart from the seeds, the plants, the technology also is something that we are looking forward to bring. So we want to bring the technology of how, so this production unit was showing us how they manage the strawberry plantation in different extreme climate conditions, and it was really amazing to see how the entirely climate controlled, all covered up and stuff. So this was very exciting. Next, these are the nurses. All our girls who are working in Japan. Some of them. So you can see they're in different locations in Tokyo, in Osaka, in Hyogo, in Hiroshima. So all of them are there. There were 29 of them now. And I was telling them that I'm looking forward to the day when we'll be able to celebrate Meghalaya Day one day in Tokyo, in Japan also, that we'll have enough numbers of people there so we can celebrate Meghalaya Day. So this is just some of the names, but obviously we are looking forward to many. The problem is starting. So what happened in the beginning, there was trust deficit. The parents were scared, is it real? What I will have to do my daughter when she'll go there if nobody's there to take care of her? Who's going to pay for it? So we faced a lot of problems. So government had to come in and we say, we will pay. CM will go and make sure that they're okay. We will help you in getting the passports. You don't have to worry. We will be there to take care, and when the first time, the first group of nurses went there, and I was there myself to take them. Take them, they were there, but I was there right about a month or so when they were there, and send the pictures to the people out here. That's when everything changed. And people were like, this is real. It's really happening. And today, as I said, the nurses are sending back money to their families. The families are upward. Some of these girls, in fact, one of the girls, I can't see if she's there or not. So, yeah, anyway, she's not there. She's never been out of Riboy. Riboy is, the Nongpo area, Riboy. She's never been out of there. She's never gone to Guwahati in her life. She's never gone to Shillong. She may have come. So, not gone to Guwahati means rest is like, really far. So, she went straight from there to the training center in Bangalore, of course. Then from there, she went straight to Japan. And that's the kind of exposure they got, and that's the kind of background that they came from. And today, they're working in Japan. So it's a really, a satisfying moment for me to see this kind of things that are happening. And as I said, great moment of a great partnership I see developing and coming up in the future. Next. Okay, there's a bad photo again with one of, he's the CEO of the ASEAN one, I think. Yes, next. Yeah, so onsen, again, something we felt that it will work well because we have the hot springs. So we have hot springs in Meghalaya. So we realized, is there some way we can learn from Japan to maybe put in the technology or some kind of aspect of how this branding was done, how we can look into this. So we actually are very keen to see this also happen. But but this, of course, is only in our thought process. We are still working on this. Next. Oh, this one is very important. So this is our rice beer, and this is sake. So we went to one of the factories or distilleries where sake was made. And we saw that process and how it was done, and we had to wear that cap and all that stuff. They didn't allow us to go in just like that. We had to take off the shoes, and you have to kind of sterilize the whole body, all that stuff. So we saw technology and how it was being done, and we were very keen to see how we do to use sake, or at least produce Meghalaya sake or whatever, our own form of sake. So this is something that we are again at very advanced stage. So the organization or the company we went to, we are in touch with them. They'll be visiting us very soon. We will be bringing in the technology all the way from Japan and installing it here. So this is something that's on the cards. I really hope this will happen, because I strongly feel that this is an area where we can obviously, similarities there. So next. Okay, so that's okay. Next. Yeah, this is, of course, the governor of Miyagi. So wonderful meeting. Next. Yeah, again, that's another. Next. Okay, we can stop now. So that in part. So to conclude, again, as I said, for us, what is important, as I said, is to look at the long run. And I strongly am a firm believer that a partnership and a relationship is built on foundations, and trust and long-term thought process, and a situation where there's a win-win situation for all is key for us to be able to build that trust and that partnership. And for us, from Meghalaya's point of view, we have been very patient. And today we are seeing things moving in the right direction. A simple example is our cherry blossom festivals. And we're the only state now today, we are partnering with Japan. Still, we couldn't do it for different reasons, but we're very keen, and we had a discussion with His Excellency that we want to see that next year, which is the 75 years of Indo-Japan partnership, we would like to see that this will be taken to the next level. So I just want to share with you, which is something I shared with the Honorable Ambassador, is that last year itself, I had proposed that I would like to come out with a cherry blossom theme. And this cherry blossom should have local instruments and local language from Khasi Hills, Jaintia Hills, and Garo Hills, and from Japan. Have artists from Japan, have artists from here. Make this theme song together with the music elements of both the nations and both the states, and both the artists and his instruments, and have video shooting done in Meghalaya and in Miyagi or Tokyo in Japan, and come out with this theme song. So we couldn't do it last year. I really hoped I would be able to do it. That would really establish this entire relationship and partnership, and create this theme song for the long term. So I'm happy to tell you that we will do it this year. So this will mark that 75 years partnership. I think it will be the best way to mark 75 years of partnership, and would like to see Meg a very important role in that and build that up. And this cherry blossom would be a very important cherry blossom, as it will also reflect the 75 years of partnership between India and Japan. So that's what we are doing, and really thank all of you for today and taking your time out. I'm happy that I had this presentation, because earlier I was seeing some people going like this, and now they're up. So at least I managed to do that. And I know I spoke a bit too long. I've been having a very difficult time because I'm in the middle of my sessions. So I'm having assembly session. So, so I spoke for, I think, no, in the morning I spoke for 3 hours, I think. Yesterday I spoke about 6 hours, I think. So I'm in the talking mood these days. So therefore, so that's why I'm not getting tired, and that's why I'm very energetic right now. But I'll stop, because I know that all of you are tired. There's much more to be done, and I think the more exciting part is tomorrow. But I wanted to share that we are in the right direction. We need to be patient. We need to show our commitment. We need to pick the right things we want to do. I think that's very, very crucial for us. And I always said we need to take the right steps at the right time, and plan things well. And therefore, I always tell people, don't mind, a lot of business people are here, but I want to say this. I don't like MOUs, just to share with you. I really don't like MOUs because MOU is just a show, there's, there's nothing beyond that. But if the MOU is going to lead to something great and you have the right intention, then yes, it's a great thing. So I think it's important to really have the right intention and, and be open about it. There's nothing. If there's nothing for you, that's it. There's nothing. You don't have to feel bad or say that, no, we should show something. I don't think it works that way. I think we should be serious. We should be working towards realistic goals. And that's the reason why I showed you what we are doing, what we plan to do, and what we can do. And therefore, we're going to work on that. And I hope that we'll be able to build up that partnership with all of you in the days to come, in the years to come, and able to really create that momentum. There's a lot to be done. Japan really invested through its government, through JICA in the Northeast. And I, on behalf of the people of the Northeast, would really like to take this opportunity to thank the government of Japan as well as JICA for the huge investments that are coming in. They're making a huge difference in terms of the infrastructure that we have, which of course, at the end of the day, is changing and making a difference in the people's lives in my state and the region as a whole. So thank you so much. And I wish this program the very best, and I wish you all the very best.
So that was, I don't think there's much to say after such a brilliant, not only a presentation, it's such an inspiring guide for what is to come, and to lay the seeds of so many things. I can imagine somebody coming to do business, getting to an onsen, going to Chera, going around tourism, thinking about sakes, strawberries. I mean, I think the future is looks so nice. I think, thanks to the dynamic leadership of our Honorable CM. And we are really proud to be in our home state with our beloved Chief Minister here. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think I stand between you and the dinner, which is also being hosted by you. And I don't know, I must say that, our Chief Minister is a musician par excellence. So if I hope I don't, you're looking at me in a very, but in case we can coax him to, kind of strum a line or two, I think it would be something special. But on that note, may I really take this opportunity on behalf of the Asian Confluence and to thank you, sir, for the support and the partnership of the government of Meghalaya in hosting this conclave. We are not just hosting the conclave, but we want to work with your government to follow up, and we would like to seek continued guidance and hand-holding, how value to these, to following up on some of these ideas and the real projects that you're doing. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the Embassy of Japan. Your Excellency, it is this is running in the 6th edition, and it is such an honor for us to partner with the Embassy and in putting this together, and we will work very hard with your team. So thank you very much for coming to Shillong. And of course, without support of the Ministry of External Affairs and the angle of the Ministry of External Affairs, something like this is often not possible. So thank you, sir, very much and thanks to the team at the Ministry for the support to Asian Confluence and to this KIZUNA effort. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the Sasakawa Peace Foundation, who is also collaborating. And much of these ideas, last week we had, 2 weeks back, we had a group visit of young students, and so much is the opportunities. Many of the hints that our Chief Minister has given. Thank you all members of the industry, media, think tanks. I think tomorrow is an exciting day. Our Chief Minister has set a very high bar for us to ideate on. So I think now I stand between you and the dinner and the refreshments that is being hosted very graciously by our Honorable Chief Minister. I know that you are very busy. You're in the middle of an assembly session, and and you've been speaking for 6 hours yesterday, 3 hours today, and you know, and we keep hearing bites of your interventions in the assembly. But in spite of that, you made time to come here and be with us, and that's such a great, so gracious of you. So thank you very much. Thank you. And yeah, and now I think we have some photos. We take, yes.
First off, I request our dignitaries to please gather for the official group, which will then be followed by a photograph with all the delegates. Thank you so much. I request everyone to please rise. We will take a group photograph. Thank you.